I'm going to be the chair of the meeting today, the temporary chair, only as vice chair. So I'd like to call this meeting of the State Allocation Board to order. I believe the secretary will call the roll.
Yes. Senator Wilk.
Present.
Senator Leyva. Senator Roth. Assemblymember Cunningham.
Here.
Assemblymember Burke. Here. Ron Morales.
Here.
Jeremy Smith.
Here.
Daniel Kim.
Here.
Gail Miller, absent right now. And then Assemblymember O'Donnell.
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
Great. I need to read something that we've become accustomed to, given that we're on Zoom. So I'll just go ahead and read this for part of our protocol, our requirements. Pursuant to Governor Newsom's Executive Order N25-20, issued March 12, 2020, this meeting is being conducted by way of teleconference. The meeting is being physically webcast from room 6-300 at the Ziggurat Building in West Sacramento for anyone that would like to provide public comment or in person. In order for this meeting to run efficiently, please note the following guidelines. 1. All participants will be muted during the meeting. If any board member or the public would like to make a comment, please use the raise hand feature in the Zoom meeting interface. I will call your name at the appropriate time. If you are calling into the meeting and not using a computer or the Zoom application on mobile device, you will be unable to provide public comment. 2, I would like to welcome our new governor's appointee, Jeremy Smith. Is Jeremy here? I think he is.
Hello. Thank you, Senator.
Well, welcome, Jeremy. We're going to beat you up a bit. Maybe not today, but, in the next few meetings. We'll educate you here. But Jeremy has been the Deputy Legislative Director for the State Building and Construction Trades Council since 2010. We welcome Jeremy. He's a good guy. He's going to do a wonderful job as a board member. Would you like to say anything, Jeremy, before we begin?
Well, thank you, Senator. You read it just how I wrote it for you. I appreciate that. So I think we're good. We can move on. Welcome, everybody. Hello, everybody. Thank you for welcoming me.
All right, and welcome again. I'm sure I speak for all, Jeremy. Welcome. We will begin this meeting by establishing a quorum, which I believe we've already done. We've called the roll, but I will. My notes here say I think we're ready to. I don't know, Ms. Silverman. Do you move the minutes? Do you ask if we move the minutes? I don't know who.
Oh, you do.
I do. Okay. Does we have a motion to move approval of the minutes? Wilk, so moves. Second. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Milk moved, and it was seconded by, I don't know, was that Jordan Cunningham, I believe, seconded the motion. Are there any public comment on the minutes? Okay, we do have a motion. I do not hear any public comment. We'll wait a few more seconds for any public comment on the minutes. Seeing no public comment on the minutes, Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Wilk?
Aye.
Assemblymember Cunningham?
Aye.
Assemblymember Burke?
Aye.
Juan Morales?
Aye.
Jeremy Smith?
Aye.
Daniel Kim?
Aye.
Gail Miller? And Assemblymember O'Donnell?
Aye.
Great. That motion carries.
And the motion is carried. Thank you. We'll now move to the executive officer's statement by Ms. Silverman.
Yes, hi. We have a few updates to share today, and we're super excited about bringing the apportionments tonight. So that will be part of the action item. And just to highlight, there's $976 million as part of the fall bond sale. So we'll be highlighting that today, later as an action item. So that's great news for those projects that have been waiting for a few months. But again, that's a great accomplishment for the program and great news for those districts that have been waiting for these apportionments. And the second highlight we want to share is that there's going to be some program amendments to the regulations for full day kinder. And Ms. Camp Minor will be sharing those updates with you as well. So again, those highlights related to the regulation amendments are also tucked away in the action item in the agenda. And we also wanted to highlight some time extension requests for, as a result of COVID, 25 requests did come in this month and 23 were approved. One actually did withdraw their requests. They didn't actually need additional time, which is great news. We've been working with districts quite closely on these requests, and we have one pending currently. And to be more transparent in our process, we also wanted to share with the board and the public that we are going to include an information item or report, and that's forthcoming in the December state allocation board item. So again, as we start, I know these extensions are blossoming as we speak. We had over 325 requests for an extension as related to COVID. And again, it seems to be more transparent as we start growing in these requests, and we're going to actually tuck that away as a future information item. So again, we're looking forward to being more transparent in this process. And our next state allocation board meeting is December 9th. And with that, I'll open any questions.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Silverman. Is there any public comment? Seeing no public comment, we thank you for the executive officer's statement. We will now move on to the consent agenda.
Consent is ready for your approval.
Is there, regarding the consent agenda, do we have a motion?
Wilk moves the
Wilk
consent
moves.
calendar. Yep.
Did I hear Jeremy Smith second?
You did. You have really good hearing. I was
That's
on
what I
mute.
Great. We have a motion and a second on the consent agenda. Is there any public comment? Seeing no public comment on the consent agenda, the secretary will please call the roll.
Certainly. Senator Wilk,
Aye.
Assemblymember Cunningham,
Aye.
Assemblymember Burke,
Aye.
Juan Morales,
Aye.
Jeremy Smith,
Aye.
Daniel Kim,
Aye.
Gail Miller,
Aye. Thank you,
Member O'Donnell.
Mr. O'Donnell, for doing this meeting.
and Assemblymember O'Donnell.
Aye.
And that motion carries.
The motion carries. Thank you. We'll now move on to financial reports. Ms. Silverman?
Yes, as part of our financial updates on page 65, we just wanted to highlight to the board some fund release updates. In the month of September, we did release over $225 million. So again, we have been active in that area. So $225 million did get released to districts. So that's cash on the street. So that's great news for the program. And part of the consent approval, we also wanted to highlight nearly $92 million in unfunded approvals was part of the consent agenda. So again, that's highlight for the financials today. And with that, I will open up to any questions.
Seeing no questions, thank you, Ms. Silverman. Is there any public comment on Ms. Silverman's update? Seeing no comment, are we, I don't believe we're voting on that. Is that correct?
That is correct.
No.
No, okay, good. Good, we'll move to our action items. Ms. Silverman?
Yeah, on page 86, we wanted to highlight with the board as far as a party of funding apportionments. And again, as part of our activity with the unfunded approvals, again, these are part of the certifications that we did receive on August 28th. And that's a cumulative amount of 302 approvals. So that's $976 million of approvals there. And we, with the consent approval with today's agenda, that's part of attachment B. We also want to highlight as part of the timelines associated with those approvals, districts should be aware that they should submit a grant agreement with those approvals. And we also wanted to highlight that we will have timelines associated with accessing the program cash. So please submit your fund release by January 26th of 2021. That's really important. So again, it's quite an accomplishment for these districts to come in for their cash. And again, we actually are accepting these fund release requests electronically. So you have until 11:59 on November 26th to come in for your cash. And so again, as part of our recommendations, we're asking the board to approve the apportionments for all the projects in the attachment for $976 million. And again, as part of the recommendation on item 2 is declare that all of applications receiving apportionments are subject to the new construction grant adjustments pursuant to Education Code 17072.11b. and are not considered full and final until the board has made that new construction adjustment. And with that, I have a recommendation for the board for approval.
Thank you, Ms. Silverman. Is there any comments from any of the board members? See no comments from any of the board members. Do we have a motion?
So moved. Second by Wilk.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any public comment? We have a motion. The secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Wilk,
Aye.
Assemblymember Cunningham,
Aye.
Assemblymember Burke,
Aye.
Juan Morales,
Aye.
Jeremy Smith,
Aye.
Daniel Kim,
Aye.
Gail Miller,
Aye.
Assemblymember O'Donnell,
Aye.
and that motion carries.
That motion has passed. We'll now move to our Deputy Executive Director.
We have an additional action item for your consideration tonight, and it begins on stamp page 461 of your agenda after all those apportionments. And it is a regulation proposal to amend the regulations and the grant agreement for the full-day kindergarten program. And this is a result of some legislation that passed with SB 98 on June 29, 2020, that did remove the $300 million that had previously been made available for the full-day kindergarten program. When that funding was initially made available, we did come before the board with some regulation updates that, amongst other changes, included specific references to that funding and set filing rounds in accordance with the date when that funding was made available. So now that the funding has been removed, we have gone through the regulations and eliminated references to those specific filing rounds and to that dollar amount. And the regulations now read that the program is subject to additional future appropriations by the legislature, and that the board will set additional filing rounds at such time if additional funds are made available. So that's primarily what's changed in the regulations, and then any associated statutory changes have been updated, and that runs throughout the grant agreement as well. So we are asking the board to approve those regulatory amendments and the grant agreement template, and authorize us to file them on an emergency basis with the Office of Administrative Law. The emergency basis would be helpful to clarify for districts these filing rounds don't in fact exist. We don't want anybody to be working on an application that we actually cannot fund, so we're recommending that we take that forward quickly. And I would like to highlight that on page 499 of the grant agreement template, we got a little carried away with some of our changes from may to shall. So at the bottom of page 499, we have added an extra correction. So I would ask that the board approve this item and the grant agreement template without the correction on the bottom of page 499 that changes the word may to shall. That one actually needs to stay at may. So with that, I'd be happy to take any questions. Otherwise, the item's ready for your consideration.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, thank you. And thank you for, there's a correction and we want to note that. With that, is there any comments from any of the board members? Seeing no comments from any of the board members, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Is there any public comment? Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Wilk,
Aye.
Assemblymember Cunningham,
Aye.
Assemblymember Burke,
Aye.
Juan Morales,
Aye.
Jeremy Smith,
Aye.
Daniel Kim,
Aye.
Gail Miller,
Aye.
Assemblymember O'Donnell,
Aye.
and that motion carries.
That motion carries. Thank you. We'll now go to reports. Ms. Silverman?
Yes, we have the information report section and the 90-day workload. And with that, open up to any questions.
Any questions from any of the board members? Any public comment? With that, I believe we are complete.
This is Assemblymember O'Donnell. I did not hear Gail Miller vote on the minutes.
Okay.
Gail Miller, aye.
Thank you, Gail.
Gail Miller is an aye on the minutes. Thank you. With that, seeing no further public comment or board comment, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.